There we go. Dan. I think they're on mute, dude. Can you guys hear me? See my beautiful office?
Sweet. Can you hear me, Brad?
I can.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, cool. We're good. Sorry about that, guys. I'm a moron. No secret there when it comes to technology and me being a moron. So here's how we're going to run this thing. If any of you guys are on the live phone call right now, let everyone know we're doing a webinar. What we wanted to do today on this was bring up like actual live projects, excuse me. Show you guys some ideas of low-hanging fruit. Yeah, ultimately we want to just, get a little bit more visual. I feel like on the calls sometimes we can just talk around and round and round and try to explain things. And yeah, let me, Bradley, did your audio go away?
No, I'm good.
You're good. Okay. So, so what we're going to do over on the sidebar there, I know there's like a ton of chats. We'll try to keep up with it. If throughout the webinar, what we'll do is we'll pull up actual live projects that maybe you guys are working on, that you guys maybe it's a struggle, or you're trying to figure out like what's going on. We'll try to bring some stuff up and maybe point out some key components of why it might be hung up, or what you can do to better its placement. So just kind of bear with us. There's 102 people right now on the webinar. So like, if you can, don't blow up the chat box if someone asks a question, so we can get to it, unless there's something specific you want to ask. And if we're going to end up looking at one of your guys' projects, just if you can put the link to it so we can click on it and bring it up live. So I think right off the bat, what I wanted to do, Brad, unless there's anything you wanted to touch on before we get rolling.
No, let's get into it.
All right, cool. So let me pull up, let me know if you guys, well, Brad, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
All right, 1 second here. Yeah, how about now?
Now I can. Jessica, can you hear us both now? Looks like everyone else can.
Okay. Everyone can hear us?
I think so.
All right, cool. All right. So I was kind of chatting about this the other day on Tuesday's call, and that's why we kind of prompted like, hey, let's do a webinar, just for the simple fact that we can kind of show some of this stuff off. And so you hear us talk about low-hanging fruit all the time, right? We always kind of use that term, and it's kind of like, we try to explain it on the calls and try to give you guys the best ideas of what you should be looking for. But when you're brand new to this stuff, or maybe you just don't know what specifically to be looking for, sometimes you can kind of feel like maybe you're a little confused or whatnot. So I want to kind of bring up some different searches. So I'm in El Dorado Hills, which is not that big of an area, right? It's like 17,000 people. It's not huge, but this is going to, I think, help you guys understand when you're looking at this map in this 3-pack, kind of what to be looking at for some like easy to dominate niches, okay? Or easy to dominate niches. So if I was looking at El Dorado Hills and I was like, okay, maybe I want to go for the taxi niche. First, I would do several searches to see what's querying a map. So El Dorado Hills taxi, or taxi El Dorado Hills, right? I want to see the different things. Now, if you noticed, it just the results just switched, right? So one thing you guys can do when you guys are kind of researching your niche is whatever it is, if it's taxi in El Dorado Hills or carpet cleaning in whatever town you're in, is kind of get like a little bit of get a notepad out and do the different searches and see what's querying a map. Not everything queries a map. Good example is like Plasti Dip Eugene. I don't think this queries a map. So there's no map for this, so it wouldn't be on our map list, but it does show up our organic listing right there, right? Because we went after it. We made a page all about it. So going back to like the El Dorado Hills taxi example, I want to point out that there seems to be 2 to 3 different variations of these local 3-packs, and I want you guys to kind of keep your eyes out for this stuff, because number 1 and number 2 have a lot better quick chances of getting into these. Yes.
Two things people are saying. Number 1, is your screen at maximum size right now?
It's at maximum size. They might want to rewind they might have to hit HD in the gearbox on their computer.
That's a personal thing everyone can do themselves?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, guys, if it's blurry, gearbox, lower right corner, switch it to HD. All right, sorry.
HD, and you might even move back the little tab so it's rendered faster depending on your internet speed.
Okay.
So where was I? Yeah. So there's pretty much like I believe 2, maybe 3 different variations of what we see in these maps. Okay. So in this specific example, we see like this first one, Yellow Cab, Folsom Yellow Cab, has no website. We see El Dorado Hills has a website, which I can bring up in just a second. Which is El Dorado Hills Limo. So keep that in the back of our mind. And then we have Metro Cab. So literally 2 out of the 3 listings here do not have websites attached to them, which means to me in this right off the bat, I'm going, okay, these people are asleep at the wheel. Maybe even while they're driving their freaking cabs, right? They're asleep at the wheel. Like people are not seeing a whole bunch of value. Another thing, what we notice up here is there's only 2 ads running, right? One of which is Uber, but and this is what Brad was talking about, like, is there enough buyer intent that if you did start getting calls here that, or if you were in here, if you did start getting calls, are you going to actually, is it going to be easy to move it over to an owner of one of these companies? And then are they going to want to work with you? Or are they just like, they're not that interested? Well, I think 2 things I want to point out to you guys. Number 1, I don't believe many of these people that have these listings, I don't think they value the internet very much. If they did, they would clearly have a website up. They would have done more with these listings. So I think that you can't always judge a book by its cover and say, well, because there's no one advertising here, no one cares to get phone calls. My guess is if they're too stupid to figure out that I should connect my website or I should have a website in 2016, they're probably not smart enough to be running ads up here. But Folsom Express, which we don't even see down here, right? We don't even see them out here. They're willing to pay for phone calls. They want airport rides. They want to take people to the airport. That's a $40, $50 ride. So they see the value in this AdWords, but they're not maybe smart enough to be down here. Well, to me, what I want to look at from a low-hanging fruit standpoint, if I'm looking at this right here, is I want to start finding where these 3 local listings show up, their actual websites. Well, because we only have 1 in this, it makes it pretty easy. The website is El Dorado Hills Limo. Okay, so let's go and let's look for if we can find ElDoradoHillsLimo.com. So on page 1. Nothing. So we're now on to page 4. There they are. They're on page 4. So this is what this is telling me, that the maps specifically for Taxi El Dorado Hills is so, it's going to be so easy to get into basically by just having a freaking pulse. You can make it into these maps. Now, let me show you. And Brad, I can't see the actual, if there's questions coming up. So if you do see anything, just let me know. Okay, cool. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can do this real quick. What do you see now? You still see my screen? Okay, awesome. Now I can see both screens. Okay, so option number 2, or this would be like the polar opposite, right? And you're going to see this a lot in like really tough niches, right? So I did plastic surgeon Beverly Hills, probably the toughest thing I could think of off the top of my head as a search. So what do we see right off the bat? We see 1, 2, 3, 4 ads, and I bet you if we refresh these will these will change because there's probably so many people trying to go for these ads. Okay, so let's scroll down. First one we see is Dr. Gabriel Chu Plastic Surgery, right? Let's see what his website is. So his website is BeverlyHillsPlasticSurgery.com. Now let's go back over here. So this #1 listing in Maps, website attached, got lots of good reviews. It's been tricked out. I'm sure it's got all the pictures and everything in it because they have someone working on this. Look what the #1 result is in organic. So what we're seeing is in these really cutthroat, hard niches, you're seeing that the map listings here are mirroring your organic listings here. Okay. Let's look at #2, Nazarene Plastic Surgery. What do we see? NazarenePlasticSurgery.com. 1, 1, 2, 2. Then we get a Yelp listing that sneaks in there. Okay. That just might mean that this person's site is just a little less, I guess, relevant or not as powerful. But we see Beverly Hills Plastic Surgery Group.com. So let's look at the where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Let's look at what his website is. So Beverly Hills Plastic Surgery Group, right? So again, 1, 2, and 3 is dominated by 1, 2, and 4. Okay, but what I want you guys to understand is like this needs to be something that you guys do when you're looking and you're doing your due diligence. You need to be looking at the map listings and seeing are they more like this, where 1, 2, and 3 is basically following suit inside the organic listings, or are they more like this, where there's some pretty big gaps and their website isn't really a reflection of where their map listing is because most of these people are so off the ball. Let's do another quick search here. I don't know. Someone give me something to search. I don't want to have it planned out. So look, someone type something in the chat box of what you want me to search.
Can you see any chats coming through? I haven't seen anything in a while.
Let me see here. Chat. House cleaning. Yeah, I see chats coming through. Portland pest control house. Give me like we'll do Portland. Portland pest control. Okay, so right off the bat, we see 4 ads. So there's people want leads in this market, obviously. We got Antworks Pest Control. We got The Killers and Columbia Pest Control. So let's look at what Antworks Pest Control's website is. Allaboutants.com. Okay, let's see where All About Ants is. Okay, so that's them. Okay, now we're going to look at The Killers. Killers is, their website is, hang tight. People said they can't see my screen.
I can see it, but no one else can.
How about now? They can't see my screen now. That's strange. I didn't change a thing. What do you see on my screen, Brad?
Antworks, the Google local.
Okay. Okay, let's look here. Can you monitor the chat, see if they're seeing my screen?
I think they're good now.
Okay. So we got thekillers.net. Okay, so thekillers.net. Let's see where this is. Thekillers.net. So we got All About Ants, thekillers.net, and Columbia Pest Control. All right, Columbia Pest Control. Oops. Where are they? Columbia Pest Control right there. So we have 1, 2, and 3 all on page 1 organically. Okay. Not necessarily Antworks, Columbia, and the Killers. So not all of these are in the exact order, but this is a cutthroat niche. You can tell by this that all three of them are on page 1 organically, not in specific order. And the reason why they might not be in specific order is a couple of different factors, because it's not the only thing that doesn't just have to mean that just because AntWorks Pest Control is number 1 and the Columbia was number 2, Columbia might have outdone them in citations. The killers might have outdone them in citations. They might have done their entire Google local listings more. They may have filled it out more complete. So there's a lot of different reasons why these might not be in perfect order. But from the naked eye, if all three are on page 1, this is going to be a more difficult niche to enter into. It just is. That's not saying you can't crack it, but you have to understand that their websites are strong. It's not like a Taxi El Dorado Hills where, people are asleep at the wheel, websites are attached to it, that sort of thing. Okay. So these are some like easy things to like identify if you're going to go into the niche. We can also look, if we go into the more places, can you see my screen, Brad?
Yep.
If we go into the more places, we can kind of also see like, okay, let's look at number 4, number 5, number 6. Like, let's start looking at them all. And like, look at this. You have every one of them has verified their listings all the way down into this guy right here has never connected his website or her website. So you can see like all the different players in there. And so I want you guys to be able to identify this. I want to try to bring up another one. Let me see if I can get another. Give me another niche to maybe look at for you guys, so we can kind of identify maybe another orthodontist, Roseburg, Oregon. I can't spell. All right, let's look at this one. So we got Bruce Roman, which this is a Job Killers, by the way, is worked on this deal. I gave him this deal. We got Bruce Roman number 1. We got Lemire, and we got Dr. Williams. So we see Lemire number 1, but maybe they've messed up some stuff in here. Obviously, there's reviews. Some of these reviews are probably helping this listing. We got Smiles by Roman number 2. So again, there's why there might be that discrepancy. All of these little factors play into it. And then we have Dr. Williams. What's Dr. Williams' website? It's drleewillis.com. Okay, this is interesting. So Dr. Lee Willis, I'm not seeing on page 1 here. Top of page 2. So, hey, this might not be too hard to crack into, because you're already showing that one of the listings isn't even on page 1 organically. Roseburg's not a huge area, but kind of just shows you, 2 of them are on page 1, but now one of them's on page 2. So some just like this is real down and dirty, easy stuff to kind of look at when you're looking at a niche. And I don't want you necessarily to be deterred by like the Pest Control Portland, where obviously it's a big market. Pest control is a big, it's a big niche. I don't want you to be deterred and not go into it, because ultimately you'll get there. But you have to understand that when all the top players are on page 1 and they're mirroring this, then you're going to probably, until you crack into the maps, you're probably going to have to be a page 1 player organically. And that's going to take time in a niche like this, because think about it. Let's look at this Bruce Roman as an example, Smiles by Roman. Let's just click on his site. Let me see what we got here. And then I'm going to click on the SEO Quick, the tool I tell you guys about, the free tool, to look at it. Let's just see how long this has been around. It's been around since 2008. You see, these are factors that you can't fake. You can't fake. Oops, sorry. You can't fake that this, your site has only been around for a month or 2 months. So when you're first starting and you want to go like incredibly fast, you got to be careful about picking niches like Beverly Hills plastic surgery or something like that, where the top 3 players in maps are the top 3 players in organics, because you're not going to crack into those listings right away. You're gonna need content, you're gonna need influence, you're gonna need citations, you're gonna need time. Like, all those things are super, super important, right? Brad, let's bring up your current project and let's talk about that a little bit. Second, guys. What was it, Brad? What's your project?
Pool Deck Phoenix.
Okay. So here's Brad. Pool Deck Phoenix. So check this out. All right, good. I'm glad this is helping. Check this out. Brad is not on page 1. Let's check this out. We're going to go for Brad. He put this up. How long ago did this go up, Brad?
It's been almost a month now.
Okay, so Brad's almost a month in. But organically, Brad's not on page 1. Is Brad on page 2?
There you go.
Mid page 2. Okay. Now let's head back. Arrowhead Deck is number 1. Look at where Arrowhead Deck is. Right there. We got this is probably not a local business, so that's one thing to look at. This is probably not going to have a map listing. Yelp is not going to have a map listing, but there's a reason why Arrowhead is number 1 in maps, and they're here. Okay. There's some mirroring, but who's Aquavita, let's see where Aquavita is now, because this is who Aquavita was number 2 until Brad came along and put this up, right? So let's see where Aquavita is. Let's see what their website is. They're aquavitapools.com. Okay, they're not on page 1. Top of page 2. So most likely, and this, again, this is a perfect example. If Brad, I don't even think you did this when you looked at it, but if Brad looked at this when he first started in this thing and he sees, okay, Arrowhead Deck Resurfacing is number 1, Aquavita is number 2, but that's strange. They're all the way over on page 2 or page 3, wherever they were at the time. And then whoever was third, who was third before you came along? I don't even know if you know that.
Not sure. And it depends, like if you do resurfacing versus repair.
Yeah. So Deck Services currently would have been that sites deckservices.net.
And look at, like, if you look at a lot of their listings, they have like one picture.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So deckservices.net is right here on page 1. And so you had, out of the 3 listings, you had 2 on page 1, 1 on page 2. And then the reason why Aquavita probably is edging out that other one that was there, they got some reviews. They probably filled out their local listing a little bit more in depth. So Brad went through, and because none of them are real strong players as far as their site and as far as how they filled things out, in a very short amount of time, he's cracked into this 3-pack just simply because he's done his citations all the way through. He's done, his page, the content on his page, the keywords on his page are probably a lot more in depth. And let's look at this. Let's look at where did that one go? Deck Services. Let's look at their front page. Nothing, right? We got no content here. Look at, I bet there's freaking 35 words on this page, right? Where we got Brad's page. This is why content can be so important. Let's look at Brad's. Oh, where'd you go? Brad's page. Look at this. Sorry, Brad. I don't know if I wasn't supposed to bring this up.
Oh no, that's fine.
Okay. Look at this. Look at all the content on this page. Okay. A lot of content, right? How many pages do you have, Brad? Just this one?
3, basically 1.
Right. About and contact. So you made a really strong homepage, lots of stuff as far as the keywords, and you did your citations and whatnot, and you cracked into the maps because the 2 other players in the market, are too sloppy and too, honestly, let's look at the first guy. Let's look at number 1. See the competition. Not a bad looking site, but content, more content than the other guys. So he does have a lot of the main keywords that are going to probably bring in deck resurfacing, the things that Google's probably looking at here. So if we're looking at these things, guys, and then let's go back over to the Beverly Hills, right? So we can go like the extreme Beverly Hills plastic surgery. Simple approach, and I know some of you guys, you're like, dude, it can't be this simple. I need a tool. I got to have a tool to look at. But seriously, this is the type of stuff that we look at, Let's look at this first guy. Number 1 in Beverly Hills. This guy is paying some jack for this, by the way. Let's see what he's got. This guy is strong, man. Been around since 2008. Okay. A lot of pages in
let's give them without any tools, just by doing some Google searches, seeing who's there in the 3-pack. I mean, some obvious signs to look for is like lack of reviews, lack of pictures, lack of completion and filling it out. And then you might click over to their website and just kind of, it's tough to explain, but do you guys kind of see what we're saying? It's like you can just kind of look and tell if they're optimized or not and how strong the competition is. Is this making sense?
Let's look here. I just picked carpet cleaning. Let's look here. So we got these 3 listings. Both all have websites. So Pro Team Carpet Cleaning Roseville. Let's see. There they are right there. We got Speedies right there. And we got Echo Choice Carpet Cleaning right there. Guys, going to take some time to crack into this niche. They're all page 1 list rankings for each one of these listings. So in order to knock one of these listings out, you're going to have to see your site all the way to page 1. Your listings are going to be completely dialed in. You're going to have your citations dialed in. And so if we looked at them from a let's just look at some basic of this site here. Not a bad site. Got content on there. Let's look at this. We got 56 pages in the index. We've been around since 2010. We're a 6-year-old website. Okay. So this isn't like a chump. This person's not a chump whoever has this site up. Let's see if we can just basically get some we got 40 backlinks or so, but some could be pretty strong. We'd have to look at those, right? So let's see here.
And then guys, I don't even use whatever Dan's using, SEO Quake. It's a good free tool. I don't even use that. I just do what we're doing. I do a search and I just look, and it's like, if they don't have any pictures, no ratings, and it's not even, in other words, the top 3 on the maps aren't, top 5 or so on the front page of Google Organic. Like right there, I'm starting to get interested, That's about the extent of what I do. And then Jessica says, how many times do we need to put the keywords on the homepage? I see on your deck site, it's very clean. As long as the keywords are in there somewhere, it's all that matters. As long as it's in the title tag and like a heading or 2, and ideally, you kind of mentioned the main keyword in the first paragraph of the text. That's my main thing. And then I like to get a picture with, a keyword alt tag in there, or save the picture as a keyword, upload it. And then if it's long and comprehensive and you have a lot of synonyms in there, so like on my deck site, and we can go through it, and I can kind of like give you guys some ideas, but basically, I wanted to rank for pool deck resurfacing, pool deck resurface, resurface pool deck repair, pool deck repairs, repairing pool deck, and just kind of like get all the different terms in there: painting, remodeling. And then I did a Google search for synonyms. I'm like, well, what else means to resurface something? And it's like refinish, redecking, And then deck, it's like pool deck, decks, decking, redecking. So those are all different terms. I kind of want to, I want that homepage to be a sponge, and whatever someone searches for, I want it to come up for it.
Yep. Let me show you guys. This is a good example here. I just did septic tank pumping, El Dorado Hills, California. Okay. So I'm looking at this right here. Domco. Domco seems to be there. They have 2 listings. Number 1, 2 different locations. They're not dummies. They know what they're doing. So check this out. So we got Sweet Septic, not one of them. Angie's List, Yellow Pages, Domco. Okay, there's our Domco. Domco again, right? So they've done a good job. Whatever they're doing, we'll look at their site in a second. Then we got Advanced Septic, Septic Zone, Septic Systems, okay? None of which are in this 3. Benjamin Franklin, their website is Benjamin Franklin Plumbing Folsom, okay? So we go to page 2. So to me, this is not a too tough of a niche to get into that I could probably jump into really quick. Let's see if we find Benjamin. Page 2, nothing. Page 3, nothing. They're not there. So the number 2 listing is literally not there. There they are. Ben Franklin Plumbing Folsom. There they are. So we're on page 5. So what does it tell me? It tells me this is low-hanging fruit. It tells me that the number 2 player in this market on maps, to beat them, I got to do my citations. I got to do my I got to do my fill out my listing in full, and then my site needs to be, I need to move it past page 5 most likely. And yeah, I think a lot of times too, you're going to see these Angie's Lists and these Yelps and these Yellow Pages and stuff like that. That's oftentimes a really good idea, a really good example that, there's not a whole bunch of players in the market for this stuff that are doing anything strong online. And so all these other like listing services are gobbling up the front page, so, but this is just a perfect example of like someone's cracked into the map pack with pretty crappy, organic rankings. So just that's like right there. I could go into that niche and I'm going to crack the map pack fairly easily because I'm going to do a better job. Let's look at their website real quick.
Yeah, guys. And the good news is like, if you can get into that Google map pack quickly, like I did, that's really going to speed up the time until you're in the money, right? Because organic might take, usually it's kind of in competitive markets, what Dan and I see, it's usually the opposite. Like as the domain gets stronger and you rank organically, then the map listing will follow to the top 10 and the top 5 and the top 3. In easy, less competitive niches like this, like pool decking, that I was going to go into it regardless, but turns out it wasn't that competitive. I got in there, and that's in Phoenix, Arizona, which is a big city. I got to there in 2 weeks. And as soon as I did, the phone started ringing. And now, organically, I'm not even ranked, but I'm valuable to him. So that might speed up the time, that it's going to take for you to be valuable to these business owners and actually start charging some money.
I know you don't use this free tool, the SEO Quake thing. I know you're anti-tools for the most part, but it just shows you too, like, how many pages they have indexed. It's like a quick little snapshot. How long they've been around. Okay, cool. And the links that SEMrush is showing that they have, some of the backlinks and what. So you can kind of get an idea of at least some of the stuff that they have out there. But the clear thing to me is the reason why this isn't doing so well in this market is probably it doesn't have any of the location information of like El Dorado Hills. So none of those words are really interwoven into any of this text. And so, it's picking it up because it's one of the options that is probably the next best thing for what we search for. Right. But to me, it's blaringly obvious that this is a super easy niche to get into. The other thing I'll tell you is, take note of the main category that you're going into. So when you're in your Google local, you get to choose a primary category, and you can also kind of look at what the number one guy is doing, number two, number three. So just pay attention to those things when you're looking at maybe not such the obvious niches like electrician. Okay, yeah, electrician, right? But like some of these other niches, what they made their primary category as, and what's showing up the most for these different for the niche that you're searching.
That's a good point. When I did mine, I picked a few cities where I thought pool decking would be pretty popular, and I looked at the maps listing, and I wouldn't have thought to put it in a couple of the categories. So I just looked who was like 1, 2, and 3 in a couple of different cities, and that's how I got like concrete contractor, which I was trying to find something different than that. And someone even had like pool repair, which it's not truly pool repair, but I saw that ranking number 1, so I was like, hell, I'll add that to it.
Right. So the question is, there's 2 questions that we want to answer, and we answer this in the training. If you see a lot of Yelp and Thumbtack show up when you search for a niche, is that also an indication it's easier niche? It can be, but it also, again, I want you to take in all factors. That's the only thing, is you got to have a little bit of feel for this. And so the things I'm kind of showing you of what I'm looking for, like, are the top 3, all of these, are they being hogged up all on page 1 by the same players? Okay, because that means I know where I got to go. I got to have my website's got to be ranked good, and then all of the other things, citations, all those other things got to follow suit. So, if we go back to that Beverly Hills one, right? So we got Yelp on there. So it's not an absolute indicator that, because Yelp and Thumbtack are on page 1. But what we do see is we only got 1 Yelp listing, and the rest are hogged up by other local businesses. And if we go to page 2, we're still local businesses. These are all local businesses. Google's first, they would rather show a local business than putting you through a third-party site like Yelp, who they do not own, who they cannot send ads through. So if they can serve up the most authoritative sites out there, they'd rather do that first. But don't use it as like a black and white indicator. Oh my gosh, Thumbtack's there. So that means, but look at how much, look at the difference. So we got Sweet Septic, which is probably not a local business, or they're not in the map, so we can't make the correlation there. We got Angie's List, we got Yellow Pages, and then this Domco's done real well. These other sites, so there's 3 or 4 on page 1 that are not local businesses. This is not a local business, So again, not black and white, but possibly a little bit of an indicator that I'm going to be paying attention to if page 1 is hogged up by just straight, Thumbtack. Let's look at this one. So window tinting Eugene, like I talk about it a lot, because I was doing lead gen for this company and ended up buying the business, and then I ended up selling the business. But we look at this, right? And when I first started, and this business was not around, this business was not verified on Google, and this business didn't exist either. I was literally everyone in this niche. It was like what you saw, the Folsom Taxi. And all I did was I threw up a Weebly site, which we can look at right here. Threw up a Weebly site. Guys, does that look familiar? Practice what you preach, right? Threw up a Weebly site and tricked out the listing as best as I could. This is way back in the day. And I went through, and I didn't even know this thing has been up for probably 7 years, 6, 7 years. Let's look. How long has this site been owned? 2010, 6 years. Okay. So we've had this thing up 6 years, and I probably did a lot of stuff wrong back then. I would maybe do some of the stuff differently. You personally know Domco. That's cool. But you look at, I've hogged this up. So try for Hourglass, Eugene window tinting. Then we got Dark Side, who's number 2. So it's got more competitive as time went on, but I've never been displaced. Like once I took that position, I've just held it, and I have not touched this site. I have not added content. I haven't done anything to this in, no joke, probably 5 years, 4 or 5 years. Other than I think I added some YouTube videos to the bottom of it. Right there. I went and shot all these videos with a cell phone and put them up on the page and optimized. Okay. But I want you to see this stuff because I think it's important. All three of them are on page 1. So we got Trifer, we got Darkside, we got Project Green, right? So all of them are on page 1. So it's a little bit tougher space at this point, but it's not completely dominated. I feel like Project Green, they're a little farther down the page as someone could come in there and pop them out of there. But we also see we got a YouTube on page 1. We got my Facebook on page 1. We got Darkside's Yelp, and we got let's see what else we got here. We got Groupon even, right? And we got a car detailing site. So, there's some holes in this market. It's not overly competitive, but all 3 players are on page 1. So you're going to have to make it to page 1 probably before you see yourself showing up in these map locations, okay?
Let's look at Tow Truck Service, Rhode Island.
Oops. Okay. We got Coletta's Garage under Auto Repair Shop. We got Auto Body Shop, and we got a towing service. So interesting that these are showing up being auto body shops and whatnot, auto repair shops. They must have put towing as one of their subcategories. Okay. So let's look at them. So her website is colettas.com. Not on page 1. Jim's Auto Sales and Body Works. No website. Okay. Red flag there. So you can sneak into this position for sure. And we got Triton. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, how many pictures do they have?
Let's see here. And some bad reviews. Google really doesn't like showing too many scumbag. They don't usually like showing off. Here's some other stuff on them too. You can kind of see some of the web results on these companies. Let's see.
It looks like they don't even have any pictures.
Yeah. Or else we can pull BS towing. Actually, let me see if I can pull this here. Yeah, I'm gonna back out of here. All right, let's go back here. I'm just showing you right here, though, the fact that this number 2 listing, it doesn't even have a website attached, tells me that this is low-hanging fruit. This is something someone's going to be able to sneak into. They do a nice towing site. They make their primary category towing. I don't want auto body services. I think auto body shop. I want a primary category. And then look, we're hogged up by yellow pages. And then we start getting into some of these other sites. But like SterryStreet.com or Sterry Street Towing, you wonder, did they ever even create a listing? We'll see if they did. So it's like this company probably is a real company, and they're so smart that they never went ahead and got a free Google listing for their business. So, I mean, you want to talk about, you want to know how to, like, if I'm looking at this niche right now, if I got a hold of this guy and I put together his listing, he would skyrocket to number 1, like, pretty quickly, because he's already holding, for whatever reason, he's holding a decent spot with his towing site. So he would skyrocket to number 1 most likely pretty quickly, because he's already holding that spot. When you go through and you do the citations and you trick out all the pictures and whatnot on the Google Local, when you do all those things, you put the other stuff in there for him, like, he's going to be a dominant force. Now that's like an SEO type of a play.
And
but,
look at the organic listings too. I mean, most of them don't even have like the main keyword in the title tag. It's kind of all over the place.
Yeah. Yep.
So
this has got
whoever asked that,
Island.
Oh, Leona, they're on page 4 to 5, not verified yet. So she's in that niche. So when you get that thing verified, if you added a bunch of keyword-rich pictures and filled it out completely and just do a nice, long, well-optimized homepage, I mean, you should be able to dominate that niche for sure.
Yeah, I mean, in like, as far as who should you target? I mean, you got to find the hungry player, and you got to deliver results in advance to them. We're not specifically talking on this video about the prospecting stuff. I'm trying to get your guys' head into just really looking at, do you really want to go into this niche or not? Do you really want to be freaking, playing ball with, the 90210 plastic surgeons down there? Probably not. Will everything we teach you, though, well, this is what I will say. Will everything we teach you allow you to go into that space and be a dominant force in time? Yes. 100% yes. Nothing that they're doing is special. Nothing that they're doing you guys don't know. Everything that we've taught you, has allowed us to rank on a global level for things. So, but you got to understand the time factor. Everyone's in such a huge rush. If you're in a huge rush, spend your time finding things like Jim's Auto Sales, who doesn't have a freaking website and is sneaking in and pulling leads because he's got his phone number in the second result, and he's probably getting more tow truck calls than he is for his freaking auto body shop. That's how you sneak in there and you edge someone out of their spot by doing everything that we're showing. Go ahead.
And people are asking, how hard is it, or how unlikely is it, or likely to get knocked out once you're kind of like at the top of the maps listing or at the top of organic? I would say it usually depends on the niche. And a niche like this, not very likely. Dan's Eugene window tinting, not very likely. Certain niches, sure. If you're in like cosmetic dentist Beverly Hills, I mean, you better watch your butt. But most niches, you pretty much get glued there. And I think Janine asked that too. Janine, by chance, was that your Miami site? Because I could see that happening more in a niche like that with all that competition.
Yeah, you go into Miami limousines or something like that, and there's people have $2 million in fleet, and their whole entire business rides. If they move from position 1 to position 2, they just lost $250,000 a year. Please believe they're spending the dough. They're spending the dough. They're figuring out how to get back there. They're putting whoever they were paying, because they were probably paying someone at some point. So again, it's kind of like why when you guys hear me talk about how before meeting Brad, like I was able to sneak into niches. Like here, this is what you guys are gonna love this. I haven't even checked on this in a long time. I don't know if it's still there. Okay, so check this out, Eugene. You want to talk about a freaking niche that is just ridiculous? Here's my Eugene Tree Care. I put this up, I don't know how many years ago. I don't even think it will tell us because it's not a I don't think it will tell us. Let's see here. Oh, April 4th, 2013 is when this was archived, right? Don't do this, by the way. Do not try this. This is so freaking ridiculous. I'm number 1 on maps. And honestly, and I'm going to tell you why I'm number 1 on maps. I'm number 1 on maps because back in the day when I put this thing up, I tricked out the map listings. I tricked everything out from end to end. I did the whole entire optimization process just like I train you guys. I'm not even sure how many citations I did. I honestly do not remember. I spent obviously so much time on the design and buying even a domain for this site. But it was Eugene Tree Care. I used a free Weebly domain, and I just wanted to see if I could kind of poke into this niche because I didn't feel like anyone was doing anything. I didn't feel like anyone was messing around with this. Now, Sperry is they've spent some money over the years and whatever. I'm not sure why maybe they haven't spent enough money, or maybe they've copied content or something like that. But the bottom line was this was like one of these niches where it was obvious back at the time, and it's just stuck there for whatever reason. Okay, it just stayed there at the top, and it gets phone calls to. This is a Google Voice number. Anyway, other questions, guys?
Guys, think about, we always talk about pulling pieces of the entire JK process out and monetizing them. If you like those pieces, like this is something where, you could prospect, send screencast videos, and pitch, your Google local service, right? And then charge the client $1,000 or whatever you can get, and then optimize the citations, add some pictures, fill it out completely, fix any mistakes. And in easy markets like this, they're gonna jump right to the top. I mean, I got to the top with a brand new listing, a brand new website in 2 weeks in Phoenix. So it's definitely doable to get these up there fast if you go for the low hanging fruit.
Guys, everything I'm training you guys, everything that I'm telling you guys that I do, I've done. Like the poking method that I've told you guys about with these YouTube videos. Look at that. That's my YouTube video right there. It looks like they took my thumbnail down because it was so spammy. But It's been up since 2012. It's still on page 1. I mean, if you're a tow truck company, really, like you can't knock me out. Here's my website. It's number 2. Here's my listing. It's number 1. This thing's been paying me. I'll pull it up here. This thing's been paying me for, let's just see. I feel like it's been 7 years, 6
Look
and a
at
half.
that fancy header.
You like that, baby? Yellow and black. It's the most I'm a graphic designer over here. So this has been around since 2012, or that's when it was archived, archive age. Anyway, just shows you, but good content, not tons, but content, right? And this thing pours in the leads. In fact, this is the guy I was telling you about the other day that called me up because I forgot to get a check in the mail from him. He's like, Dan, I gotta pay you. Like, it was simple, it was simple, but all the players in this market were just so weak, We got T&M Towing here. Let's see where we find T&M. So T&M's there, I'm there, and then Mark's Towing. What's Mark's Towing's website? Mark's Towing and Roadside Service. Okay, so he's down low. This is like an equivalent to like the Eugene window tinting I see, because it's not in order. It's like a blended algorithm. They're using a lot of how I optimized the listing and did it full. And while these guys probably only did 1 or 2 pictures and they did it pretty weak. Did we lose? Oh, we're back. Okay, cool. Hold on a second. I'm gonna fix something on the webinar real quick. Brad, just give me a second, okay?
Yeah. Guys, and then once you find an easy niche and you go into it, it's surprisingly simple, especially if you get, like, honestly, there's so much debate. I don't know for sure how much of a boost you do or do not get with an exact match domain. I mean, I'm definitely not that concerned about domains these days, but once I saw how easy it was to climb to, what's that?
You're fine. I'm just gonna extend this so it doesn't turn off.
Yeah. Once I saw how easy that was, and I put this in the VIP case study, I threw up an exact match domain for resurfacepooldeck.com, and with just content, no citations going to that site, no links, no nothing, just content. Bring that up, Dan, because I think it's already like page, probably bottom of page 2, or let's see where it's at.
When did you put this up?
I just put this up like a week ago. There's my video starting to come up.
This is you?
Yep.
Okay, so you're top of page 2 for video. Okay, cool. Now
there's the main website, middle of page.
So this is your main website.
Yep. And then I think that other one, which is kind of surprising because there's nothing flowing.
Is this it right here?
Oh, that's also the about page for the main site. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. This is one of your yeah.
Yeah, and if you guys want to, by the way, as ugly as this looks, this guy loved this website because he was like amazed at the copy. So if you want like a good tone, I mean, every business owner is different, but this is a little bit more playful, but it's not overdone to where he really liked it. So he loved the copy on this page if you want to check it out. But this resurfacepooldeck.com is already climbing. It's already like on page 2, maybe top of page 3 for kind of the main keywords. So, I think I'll be able to get multiple spots on page 1. We already got the top of the maps, and now, add 2 or 3 more sites to it, and we're just going to be dominating that space.
The Peyton Manning of pool decking. Okay. I think also, I want to just talk about I wish I could. I don't even know how to find the thing you did today. Just from a cliche. I'll find it while you're talking. Keep going. Let me.
So what are you looking for? My ad.
Oh well, I think what I want to pull up your ad because I think it's everyone goes so cliche, so copycat every time, right? No one will spend the time, I think, like you do, really looking for these kind of weird and obscure niches. So I want you guys to it's such a copycat world online. everyone does click this or it's going to expire in 3 minutes and you're going to get charged more. Like there's all these like cliche things that most people end up just straight copying, copycat. A lot of the power of what Brad does is he like sits down and thinks, unless I'm bothering him with phone calls, like calling him nonstop, but he'll take a moment to like think through what he's doing instead of just vomiting up like, oh, well, I saw 10 other people in the group do pool resurfacing, so I'm going to go into pool resurfacing. Hey, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go into pool resurfacing because others, but don't just go into it without doing this due diligence, these processes we're kind of showing you. Because you can get yourself and you'll start scratching your head like, well, why did it work so well for Brad? Obviously, he's got the X factor. No, that might not be true. I think he does, but I think what's probably more true to that is the variables were great. They were great in his market. He had great variables going on. Yep. In another market, let's just do it. Let's just go.
Well, Kerry is looking at for Vegas, for example.
Well, yeah, I'll do that 1 second. I was gonna do. As an example, let's just kind of see. Oh, map listing. Oh, there's one map listing. Okay. So this might be pool deck resurfacing San Diego. There might be some jack here, being that Google's only showing one listing over here. We might have to do some different variations of the search.
Do like pool deck repair.
Okay. Same guy. Okay.
That's kind of interesting.
Hold on. Again, guys, remember, do different variations. Interesting.
Just on the topic of citations being indexed, it's interesting because honestly, I haven't checked mine. I don't know how many of mine are indexed. I don't think a ton of them get indexed.
They should get indexed over time. That's you do want them to get indexed. Some of them take time. And an easy way, I posted this in the group yesterday, is throw up a YouTube video. If you got one that's not indexed, throw up a YouTube video and point a link to it. Okay, for those of you guys that don't know what that means, this would just be like, we'll just go to that Eugene Towing, right? But into my YouTube video, when I say point a link, because I know I say this on these videos, hopefully there's something in there. Maybe not. Yeah. See, I didn't link to it. Oh, wait, I did. So this would be like pointing a link to I actually pointed a link from a YouTube video to my site. So let's say you wanted to get your citation. So this is an easy, free way. You could throw up a really down and dirty video, point a link over to one of your citations, and a lot of times that will index a citation. Keep in mind also, if you went through a SCSI citation service, there's some SCSI citation services out there. I've heard lots of bad things about some of these like Fiverr ones, or some of these, they're putting like citations on bad spots. And those citation locations are not really getting crawled by the search engines all that often. The big ones, the YPs, the Yelps, like the big names, like the big dogs that are in citations, they're going to get indexed. They're going to get crawled. So when you get your citation list, just double check. And if it's a fine location and you see other citations or the competitors have citations there, you're going to need to get some attention to it. It just might not have been indexed because no one knows it exists yet. And this is a way that this will get crawled pretty quickly, and usually this will index pretty quick. Okay. So also, guys, on the when you're finding a Google map, if you remember early on in this webinar, I said, hey, you want to make sure there's an actual map listing for it. So we said pool deck in Phoenix seemed to pull it. Maybe there's, who knows why, but in San Diego, I just did pool repair, right? So it might be pulling up some different things, but this is stuff you can look at. So, we can even go down to the bottom here, grab like pool resurfacing, right? That might be another thing that might query a map here. There you go. That query to map. Every market might be a little bit different. So like there's tons of great information right here. Tons of great information. Okay. Tons of great keyword ideas too. And they're not putting this stuff there for their health. They know people are searching for this. So Other kind of questions you guys
Show
want
them how
to?
you would check to see if, well, I don't know if this is something that, we want to encourage them to spend time on, but like some of the newbies are confused of what it means to have a citation index. So would you just highlight the NAP exactly as you entered it and do a Google search for it and see what comes up? Or you can go to each citation
Well, why
and
don't
just
someone
copy the URL and do a Google search for the URL?
Yeah, if someone wants to give me one of their citations that's not indexed, then we can do a live because I don't have anything to show you live. If someone can give me a live one, I can totally do it.
Well, go to mine. Go
to what is yours again?
Go to bring up like Yelp, Pool Deck Phoenix plus Yelp.
Yeah. Now what? What's your phone number for it? Do you know?
It's that one. Hold on. I think I just saw it. I think that one.
No, I don't think so. Established 204.
Yeah, that's what I put. That's when it was established.
Got it. Is this you?
Yeah. So if you wanted to see if that was indexed, you could copy that exact URL, yelp.com/biz/whatever, and then you could do a Google search for it. And there it is. So that one would be indexed. So we know Google has seen that one. I don't, it's kind of a waste of time if you're going to go through and check every. I haven't checked any of mine. I didn't know what was and what was not indexed, except for I knew Yelp was, but.
Domain doesn't matter much, but obviously misspelled certainly can't be good. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't sound great to me to misspell a domain. We've all done it though, especially me. But yeah. I definitely don't ever recommend putting hyphens in your. I know this isn't a .com. This is something else, I think. But little -rock-plumbers. I wouldn't do that on a .com or anything like for your money site. Just so you guys are all clear. I also
wants us to look at whoa, I just missed it. Concrete Baltimore.
Concrete Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, there I go, misspelling. Okay.
All right. So
what are we looking for?
I think just kind of scoping it out.
Okay. Well, I guess first off, I want to know a couple different things. This will lead me into my next kind of section of going over some training. Concrete Baltimore. Are we sure that that's what people are searching? Do we have any like data? Have we talked to the business, or are we just kind of like spitfiring like concrete? What kind of concrete? Is it stamped concrete? What specifically are we trying to go after? Is it like where to buy concrete? Like that's a pretty
yeah, that's what, because like my guy does concrete as well. So who was that, Brooke? Is this someone you're thinking about working with, or driveways? So
there we go. So like I would think stamped is one of them, but like what would it be like? So driveways, I don't think no one's gonna search driveways Baltimore, right? That's just not normal. Concrete driveways, is it concrete driveway repair? What specifically is it? Paving?
Yeah.
Like I would say like driveway paving. I don't know. Concrete driveway paving.
Some people in the know, I think, would maybe search for like concrete contractor, Baltimore, stuff like that.
Yeah. Let's just look. Asphalt driveway paving, like some great keywords down here to like go and see what's querying maps, right? And honestly, there's oftentimes. So let's look at Aurora. Let's just see who these people are. We got Aurora Paving, we got RJ Hellman Paving, and we got FM Contractors. So FM Contractors is in the top here. RJ is in the top, and what was the first one? Aurora. Aurora's on page 1. So kind of like the window tint niche a little bit. They're not paying attention. Let's just take a look at FM contractors real quick. Okay. Just get a quick little, I just like a quick little glance here. Been around since 2011. We got some pages index, what have you. Okay. Some internal backlinks, not many external backlinks, guys. Okay. So gives us an idea. And then what I like to do sometimes, guys, is go over to Manta, or you can use the, you're not always going to find the business. They're not always updated in here, but this is another, did I get the name right? Was it FM Contractors?
I believe so.
FM Harvey Construction. I don't know if this was it. Let's see what was the phone number on that. Oh, I'm jumping around. Sorry, guys. Let me just one second. Give me a sec. I just want to show you how you can look at some other data, like maybe who the business owner is. Sometimes it will tell is F&M. That's probably why we screwed that up. F&M. F and M. Contractors or contracting?
Is Beaverton a town in
Hey,
Oregon?
Nicole, hop off the webinar. If you just signed up today, you're going to be way confused on this stuff because we're talking like way super like people that have been already through. You're best off going through the training because it's going to walk you through. You'll get yourself up to this point. You'll totally know all this stuff here in no time. Okay, so I'm going to back out of this. I want to look at one other thing here. So I got F&M. They were number 1, right? We can look at Alexa. Again, free tool, not paying for this crap. This might not give me any information either. I'm just going to see if I get any keyword information from this of where they're getting their traffic. Okay. 97% of their traffic comes from asphalt driveway. It's not bad to know, right? That this business gets, and this isn't going to be 100% correct. We know that, right? Stamped concrete driveway paving Baltimore. So I like to identify where some of these businesses get the traffic from, right? We'll go back to Google here.
Now, what sort of risk factors are there? Because I think we're making it pretty clear, like how to find easy niches, especially in regards to the maps. The only thing that we want to be careful of is we don't want people going in and getting themselves in a situation where maybe they do dominate it easy, but there's no money to be made. So a couple of things that it's kind of like a happy medium, because if you go, like someone just asked about Beaverton towing, and I looked it up and there's like just nothing. I mean, it looks like you could totally dominate that, no problem. The question is, and the only thing in niches that are too easy that I see, because I know Jeff went into like Des Moines, which is a big city in Iowa, but that's not saying much because it's Iowa. And the situation he ran into, he did really well with his site. He's in the 3-pack, but it's kind of like everyone knows everyone. Everyone knows who the top limo companies are, and the guy kind of gets all of the business anyways, just through word of mouth and referrals. So that's kind of the only thing you got to be careful of, is if it's going to be too small where the business owner is going to go, people know my name anyways. They always call me when they need towed, so I'm not going to pay you for leads that I would get anyways. That's the only thing that you kind of got to be careful of, right?
Yeah, Beaverton's pretty big though. Beaverton, I mean, it's not small. It's like a suburb of Portland, right? So yeah. I agree with you though. A Beaverton population. So we check your population first. See what it is. About 100K. It's not bad. It's not horrible. But then from a due diligence standpoint, you go over and look at how many towing companies over on Sales Genie. How many towing companies are popping up in Beaverton? Is there only 3? Then Brad makes an excellent point. Like, dude, they might be dominating the town, and they're gonna they're going to say, we're going to get the business regardless, So, again, your due diligence, it's not like a perfect science, right? You have to be willing to like go through some of these things that we're doing, like look up the competitors, look them up on Manta, look them up on Sales Genie, look through, kind of tear through their stuff. Like if we grab beavertontowing.com, let's get some ideas. Are they if I went over to Sales Genie and I saw that they're the biggest player in town, they make the most amount of money. Okay. I got to think a lot of the internet is driving where these people's revenue is coming from. Some of them may have been around longer, but let's just see where Beaverton Towing's main, what's driving according to Alexa, which isn't always going to be correct, right? There's no absolutes, but from what we can see, not enough data. Oh, here we go. 99% of their business comes from the word Beaverton Towing. So, you when you're searching this stuff, you get an idea of where their traffic's coming from. Get an idea that they got one backlink pointing to them. Lowest Business Association. That's probably a pretty decent site though. That's pointing to them. But you kind of got to go through all these little things and learn the market, right? You got to just learn a little bit about the market. Like think of yourself as if you were going to start a towing company in Beaverton. Wouldn't you want to know all the competitors, who they were, what the average sales were in the marketplace? And that's going to give you a better idea. Like Brad just mentioned, like if there's 3 companies that basically are dominating the space, and you look at, and they're going to, that's what happened to me in the limo niche in Eugene. It's like there was only 3 companies and they basically turned their back on me. So I started my own limo company and bought my own limo, just said, okay, well then I know I was getting leads. I know I had buyers on hand. So I had to pivot and go a different direction. Other questions, guys? Look at this, Beaverton Towing, right? That was where I did service. Let's just do Beaverton Towing. They're hogging up that whole front thing, that's probably why they're getting so much traffic, and they just dominate. And that's this is probably like this probably been around since 2010, 11, 12, somewhere in that neighborhood.
One of the best ways to use this, so that you don't run into a situation where you waste effort, waste energy, is to kind of do this just quick due diligence, find niches that you can go in and exploit and dominate, but then prospect first and make a little screencast video, show them. I wouldn't go on and on about how easy it's going to be, because then they're not going to want to pay you that much if it's easy and it's fast. But just say, I'm looking to get, or whatever you want to say, but I would prospect in that niche and get a paying client and then go dominate for them. Now it's easy money, The
other thing too, guys, remember, anyone generally who's paying for these ads up here, right? Like they believe these people are, look how bad this is. This is Folsom, California. They're just blowing money because they don't know how to target their ads correctly. So they're literally, I'm searching for Beaverton Towing and Folsom Towing is showing up, meaning that they're basically probably blanketing the whole US. Like this would be a great screencast that says, hey, I was doing blah, blah, blah. Whoever's doing your AdWords is really jacked up. They're blowing your money, And I might use a free little tool just to see if I can. No, we're anti-tools. We're anti-paying for tools. Because I think everything you can get enough information for free, and I don't want you guys blowing your money on stuff. See how much they're spending a day. It's probably so low that it's not even on there. Yeah. Nothing. Anyway, so lots of ways that you guys can identify low-hanging fruit. Janine wanted to ask a question about. I saw a question a second ago, and then it went away.
Jessica, yeah, if you get yourself in a situation where you've already done a project and you're dominating, you're getting leads, and there's no one you can get to take them, you can definitely try like the next city over, right, Dan?
Say that one more time. I was reading something else.
If you're getting leads and no one's really wanting to pay to take them, you can always try the next city over.
Well, yeah, I mean, like if you listen to the Corey Long video way back in the day with his towing guy, it took him 11, 12 months for that deal to go down, but the deal became a very became a very good deal. And so, yeah, sometimes you got to get persistent, and you can't just take no for an answer just because they said no to you one time. Dude, freaking send them a Starbucks gift card every day, or send them a screencast video or an email or a text, or, go give them a Yelp review and a Google review, and go freaking review their business and tell them how awesome they are, and make a screencast video and like, hey, I know you don't want to work with me, but I want to work with you. And so I'm, you know what? I'm just going to talk up your business all over town, and just freaking so much goodwill, so much freaking like, they got to love you by the time that you're done with them, and you're so persistent. I saw someone post in the group today, tow truck companies can be difficult. They just can be, because there's sometimes a lack of knowledge behind the people that own them. There's, it's kind of like simple business model, right? But, you stick with these people, man. You sometimes you got to continue the follow up and continue delivering and continue doing stuff for them, and that's what it's going to take, It's happened to all of us, But the thing is that you have to understand is that you have a skill set now that sometimes, if every project I ever did was successful and I didn't run into little bumps in the road, man, look, I'll here. Here you go. I have this thing for Albany, Oregon. Small town. I've had this site. I've been paying for this site for, here, let's look how long I've been paying for this. I still don't have a client, by the way. I tried to get it through ours, and we tried to broker deals, but it just didn't work, right? This site has been around for, and I've been paying for it, 2013. I've tried to make deals with guys up there. It's just is a bad market. Am I killing the project? No, I'm sure something. I mean, for the amount of money I spend on it long term, it'll probably work out some way, somehow. But I'm just telling you, if every one of my projects were freaking, $5,000 deals, dude, that would be awesome. But it's just not the case, It's just not the case. Sometimes you get into niches and you gotta just put them on the shelf, and then you got to get into the next niche and just keep moving. It's people give up so easily on things. They just completely like, oh, I tried my first niche and it was really hard, and the business owner, man, this is just tough, I gotta go. Man, I don't know how many failures I've had, but I know there's been a lot, and I just keep moving and I put them on the shelf. I look at like every one of these businesses as a project. So anyway,
that said, we want you guys to do the due diligence and be smart about it, so that your chances of, putting your effort into a successful project are as high as possible. Don't just close your eyes and pick something and then waste a bunch of time. Janine wants to know, when looking into competition in a couple of niches, basically it looks like competitors were listed in some directories. So she's looking into those same directories, finding that they're kind of spammy, and yet they haven't been slapped. Yeah, like we said, it's harder than you would think to get slapped. You can get away with quite a bit of, especially local, it seems like it's even harder. I don't feel like their algorithm's as tight, because you don't have your 5 million SCSI affiliates trying to rank for fat loss factor review. And a lot of times these local business owners don't know what they're doing. So sometimes they accidentally do spammy stuff and duplicate content, low quality sites on accident. So it is harder. If, I wouldn't try to match any links that you think are spammy, and but if they're clean, good sources, and you can get, match those link for link, go for it. I don't know if you're just asking like why they haven't been slapped, or how you can get the same links. I'm not sure what your question is.
Heedman. I'm looking at this water drilling. I just looked at water drilling, right? It's kind of a obscure niche. Probably none of you guys have ever thought of water drilling as a niche, right? It's like very expensive to drill wells. And all three, I can't find their sites for the life of me. I can't find their sites anywhere. Not on page 1, not on page 2, not on page 3. I mean, so they're very far. I feel like I could sneak into this niche pretty easily in a short amount of time with a really strong site that's talking about it. And I feel like I could dominate that space. I mean, I'm not seeing anything. These just nothing. Leak detection. Leak detection, like another one, kind of a interesting niche, right? American leak detection. No website, right? This one has no website, guys. Leak detection ain't cheap. Watch. This is a lead gen site, obviously, but it's not inexpensive to do leak detection for a home. If you've sprung a leak somewhere, which I had, this is why I ran into this niche. Like, I guess every time I'm getting knocked off in 3 minutes. Good, thanks, Paul. Every time you're paying for something at your home or something happens, go ahead and do the due diligence. Like, use that as a chance to possibly land a business. I don't know if I'm going to 6:30, guys, but I just put it out there. Brad, are you on mute?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool. So, any other questions, guys, that you guys want us to look at? Water hauling is good in many areas as well. Yeah, Colleen's the one that told me about the drilling, how expensive it was. So, I mean, it was like a very interesting niche. But leak detection as well. I mean, when you don't know where a leak's happening, man, it's an emergency type of situation. So the other night, other morning, I woke up, I called Brad and told him, and I was like, dude, I turned on the water, make some coffee first thing in the morning. I got like no pressure. I'm like, crap. I run up my hill, I look at the meter, and it's just spinning. I'm like, oh crap, I got a leak. So I go and turn off all my water. I run back up the hill, it's off. Okay, so now it's like trying to figure out where it's coming from. All over my property looking for this thing. Finally found this leak on the very edge of the property where I mean, luckily, but I'd gone online because I was like, dude, this is an underwater leak. I don't see anything coming from anywhere. And I see, wow. I called Brad and I was like, dude, leak detection. He's like, dude, I had the same thing happen at my house a while back. And it just shows you, like, man, they're in there and they don't deserve to be in there. They don't even have a freaking local number, These guys are in Modesto, which is way far away from where we're at, and they're up there, So just this to me tells me this is a pretty low hanging, easy niche to get into in this market. So anyway, other thing. So basically, just expect that if you're going into a high competition niche, just know that we can do it, but it will take work and time. Absolutely, paying niches or high tough competition niches, high competition niches. Thank you. I can't speak. Everything we do and train you guys in job killing is going to work. You're going to dominate the top players. I mean, it's not that hard to do it. Links and influence, you'll win. You'll always win. Okay. The time is the variable at that point, because think of it like a foot race. Think of it like these guys or gals, whoever own these businesses, have been sprinting for 5 or 6 years, and they're way far out and ahead of you. And they've been, when you got started, they were already number 1 or number 2. And so, you're starting from the start line, and it's like, yeah, it'd be nice to be able to sprint past them instantaneously, but Google's not dumb. If it was that easy, then everyone would be just, leapfrogging everyone. So you got to understand that variable on those very competitive niches is going to take you more time and effort. And honestly, it's a good thing because it shakes out the weak. That's the thing I love about local is everyone's so lazy. These local business owners. I mean, let's just take a look. Carpet cleaning. I'm not going to do carpet cleaning. Let's do a different niche. I always do carpet cleaning. What's a niche we should pick? House cleaning. House cleaning El Dorado Hills. Oh, wow. We just found another niche, low-hanging fruit. No connection to website. They're number one. No website. El Dorado Hills is, I mean, there's a lot of people get their houses cleaned here. I mean, even though it's a smaller market, there's money here. So like, look at this, the top players in this market. I want to see if I can show you though what I'm talking about. Let's see what we got. Oh my God, it's loading. Still loading. Let's see here. Here's their site. I mean, I don't know what the word count is on this, but I'm guessing this is like 150 words on their homepage. That's how much time got put into this. The site's not bad looking by any means, but I mean, it's like local business owners, they're not going to go back and spruce up their homepage, and they're not going to go spruce up their content. Once their site's up, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. And so, interesting. It's just interesting, to look at these competitors in these marketplaces. Anyway, lots of low hanging fruit out there, guys. But go to Thumbtack, right? You need ideas. You can't think of niches to do some of these searches with. Like I say in the training. Let's go down to home. Let's just do home. Look at all these ideas. I mean, balcony remodel. I got a bid on a balcony remodel. It was $70K. So it's there's so many ideas, but taking the time to slow down a little bit and do some of these searches. Brad, anything you want to kind of
search for, just because it's one that I've been thinking about out here? Search for like epoxy garage floor in Phoenix or something like that. I just kind of want to see what that looks like. EPOXY.
Genius over here. Epoxy what?
Epoxy garage floor Phoenix.
Okay. So we got Dreamcoat flooring, we got Arizona Garage Solutions, and we got garage door floor coating. So Dreamcoat.
Okay.
Arizona Garage Solutions. My wife messaging me.
There they are, about halfway down. That's a good sign.
Yep.
Man, this might be a good niche. Janine says it's good. Janine, what, if you don't mind, like what city are you in?
Garage door floor coating. Garage floor coating.
Is he paying you, Janine? Her guy just closed a $90,000 deal. Wow. Rochester, New York.
Is that Brad's house? All right, so garage door floor coating, page 2 as well.
So, I mean, right there. And guys, how did I come up with that one? I got the mail the other day, and there's all this stuff that I always throw out, right? And one of them was like a, wow. I got it right here. Hold on. It was like the Home Meg, and it's got like patio stuff. And I flipped through, and there's all these like really nice full page ads, for stuff out here in Chandler, Phoenix. And I was like, wow, every one of these would be a great niche, because I know it's not cheap to advertise in here. So you just keep your eye open, and you'll just see limitless possibilities. And then you can just jump on Google, do a quick search like this. And so, not only have I had my garage floor, had this epoxy coating done, but then I see, people, multiple companies advertising in this same magazine. And then I got another magazine, a different one, a couple days later. I had kept the first one and it was on my radar. And again, I see like 2 more companies advertising this. So,
look at the number 2. They're a cabinet maker is what they put as their primary category. I mean, like, I'm sorry, but are we dealing with morons here? Yes, we are. So let's just be a little bit smarter than a moron and we win. That's like my whole game. It's always been my whole game. Brad's a lot smarter than me. We know that part, okay? He got through pharmacy school. I did barely made it through high school, okay? My thing is always, and you guys heard me talk about this on the call, on the call if I did my call with you. My game was always get in the ring with 3rd graders and knock them the F out. Don't get in the ring with 900-pound gorillas or Mike Tyson and get your lunch handed to you. Go hang out with Arizona Garage Solutions, who thinks he's a cabinet maker who lays epoxy floors. Like, that guy, I can be smarter than that guy. He's sniffing too many fumes, okay? That's what I'm saying is there's so many of these niches. If you take a moment, you just slow down a little bit. We're not in such a rush that, we just go, okay, everyone's going into towing. I'm going to go into towing. But we don't go through the necessary steps that we should to find some of these just freaking golden nuggets. There's so much damn money out there. $90K on a girl. I mean, that's crazy. Off what Janine built.
Yeah, and she gets a percentage deal on that. That's awesome. Congrats. If you think about the business a little bit too, think about what a new customer is worth. Actually, when I first saw this one and thought about it, I asked Dan, and he kind of knew someone who kind of does this or does something similar. And you were saying, because I was thinking to myself, again, just common sense without knowing anything about this, I'm thinking that can't be, there it is right there. That can't be much overhead to do this. And I knew that my dad had liked my flooring, but it's not a thing back in Iowa. So he went to Home Depot. Of course, he's like a do-it-yourselfer, save money, So he went and did it himself. And I know it only costs like a few bucks to get the mix for it. But I know people like me out here would never dream of doing this themselves. And it's like $1,000, to do a garage floors. So you got to think that business owner, every time he gets a deal, it might be, $700, $800, $900 profit for him. So that's a great business, because if you get him a handful of, new deals per month, you're worth some money to that type of business. So always think about, what a new client might be worth to them and what their overhead is like, because you have to be practical. You can't say, oh, well, pool decking is $15,000. That means every sale. No, he's got overhead, right? His margins, in my case, my pool deck guy, he gets about 20 to 25%, right? So I have to factor that in. If I get him X amount of deals, the average deal is $8,000. Okay, now let's times that out and then take it times 0.25 to see what his take home is. And now I can start to understand how much I might be worth to him.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Anna asks if he does garage storage. What I'm trying to point out to you guys is not the fact that he does garage storage. It's the fact that he's listed as a cabinet maker, okay? And he's showing up for epoxy garage door floor. Yes, he might do it. He might have used that as a non-primary category when you're doing it, okay? But the fact of the matter is you're going to have a better chance showing up if your primary category is flooring. It is the stuff that you do. And the fact that cabinet makers with primary categories of cabinet makers, because that could mean a lot of different things. The fact that he's showing up for that means it's low-hanging fruit is what I'm trying to tell you. So he might not be stupid, but the fact that he's ranking in there, it's low-hanging fruit for us. It's easy to go knock him out. It's like knocking out a 3rd grader. I can knock out a cabinet maker if I only do epoxy floors or if I only do pool resurfacing. I'm not a jack of all trades. I'm zeroing in right on that. Does that make sense? Hopefully.
Yeah, garage organizers. Colleen said in that same magazine. Awnings, sunshades, sunscreens, and I've always said since the time we started selling Job Killing, even when I was too busy, we were just trying to keep our head above water with Job Killing, and I haven't been able to jump into some of these niches. Go look back at videos a year and a half ago. I was saying, look for things off the beaten path that are specific to kind of what you know or what you understand or specific parts of the U.S. That's usually where your money is. Like dentists are everywhere. So that's just
Yep.
such an obvious niche. Lawyers are everywhere. That's almost always going to be competitive, even in smaller cities. But I always said like palm tree pruning and stuff like that. Well, it turns out Stacy's building a site right now. You know, there's specific searches just for palm tree transplants, stump removal, stuff like that. Things that are specific out here after these dust storms blow through. There's specific keywords for the Phoenix area. The garage storing is a good one, but the awnings and sunshades, that was a huge one. There's so many advertisers in these books. Now, those are probably going to be a little, I would just guess, because of how many people were advertising, there's some pretty big players that might be a little bit too competitive, but you might be able to pick out, you know, like a subcategory of that, like just awnings, and maybe their site isn't optimized for awnings, and you could just dominate the awning space, right? For Mesa, Arizona, or something like that.
Patio cover installation. Pizza. Oh, fix it for me. Awning supplier, awning supplier, awning supplier. Cool. Website,
Yep.
website.
That's a huge niche.
Royal
Okay.
covers, Royal covers. Mesa awning, Mesa awning. Valley-wide awnings.
And, you know, plenty of people paying for advertising.
Valley awnings. Hopefully I didn't go past it, but anyway.
Another thing you could do, guys, if you want to throw up a YouTube video, like Dan teaches his poke method, which is awesome. You should definitely be doing that. If you do a Google search for, like, put in the command in URL. Well, I'll wait till you're back on Google.
Oh, yep. 1 second. I just want to see patio covers is 55% of their traffic for that #1 spot. So what did we search? Patio covers. So we went patio covers, Mesa. They're still there. Yep. Okay, cool. So what were we going to say?
Hold on, I'm going to chat it through to you in your youtube.com/.
Yeah, YouTube rankings, just people chatting in the box. YouTube rankings is great, but it's never going to be a lead generator for you guys. Just know that. It's just as much as we want it to be because it's so freaking fast and easy and just, you know, down and dirty. I've done the testing, man. I've put the tracking numbers on it, and it's not a lead generator, but it does show you holes in. You see my screen, Brad? You want me to do it like this?
Yeah, if you can copy and paste what I wrote in or try something like that. I think that's the command. Yeah, and then
Copy and
space.
paste.
And then if you put in like I think you need a space though. And then put in any keyword you want to look for, and that'll tell you if there's a YouTube video created with that exact keyword in the title of the YouTube video. And obviously if there's not, then you should be able to rank a YouTube video for that term very easily. So in this case there is, but mine's already #1 because, you know, it still wasn't that competitive.
Interesting.
But a lot of times you can find them. I was just experimenting with this the other day. You can find plenty of keywords where there's 0. It'll show up 0 listings, and you're like, wow, if I threw a YouTube video for that of like paint drying, I could literally rank it, you know, because no one else has optimized a video for that term.
Yeah, and also, guys, I know it's hard not to talk in absolutes for you guys because, you know, we've been doing this a while, and so we don't get discouraged by like if we made underwater basket weaving YouTube video and everything tells us like, hey, there's no underwater basket weaving video and it didn't rank. So what does that mean? It might not mean anything. You have to take a holistic approach to this and look at all the different things that we're showing you right now, not just necessarily one thing. I'll give you a good example. If we go back to that Eugene towing, right? My video is on page 1, okay? That means there's a spot almost like slated for it. It's easier if there's already a spot on page 1 that you see a video taking up a spot than if not, than making your spot. So it doesn't always mean there's some niches. I've done everything correctly. They look like they were the lowest hanging niches ever. And I put up a video and I'm like, this is going to be up live in a few seconds. And it's just not, never shows up. Google just didn't slot a space for it for whatever reason. They have their own, reasons why. And then, so like if I was going into the window tinting niche in Eugene and I saw, I spelled that wrong. And I saw this video, I would know as the competitor, like I could bump them out of there, with just a little bit of optimization or whatever, because there's already a space slotted for it. So anyway, other questions? Question, if nothing even shows up on Google Maps for a niche search and arbor patio covers, that a good niche? No, it's not, because there's no map for it. And that's kind of what I was saying at the very start of the video is if there's not a map listing for it, if Google didn't make it, that's why when you're doing your initial your research, you might think like concrete Baltimore, I'm just throwing this out there, is a good search. And if it doesn't query a map, then you need to go and like do what we did, kind of go down to the bottom. And maybe it's a different, well, we can do concrete again. Concrete Baltimore. Or we can do yours. What was yours? Patio, something, patio, Ann Arbor patio covers. Probably not as big of a niche out there. I'm just guessing versus like Phoenix, that's the seasonality stuff, right? Ann Arbor. Might need to switch this around too. This will give you like if one thing queries a map in one way. Look at that. Patio covers Ann Arbor, right? I just switched it around. So if I'm naming my site now, I want what the map listing is going to pull, not the other way around, right? So you searched it one way and I just went and redid it. And boom, it pulled up, right? So I found some. Look at this though. 4 season sunrooms, nothing. Man, that's awesome. Now the question is this a big niche? Like I want to know some more. I want to know some of the, I want to know. Okay, so this is our top Allstate Home Leisure. Let's see what we got here. Man, this is pretty weak stuff. Look, they're in a lot of different locations. So I'm going to see, these people probably do a lot more than patio covers. Yeah, I know this is a lot of information. It'll be recorded, I hope. I think I hit record. It's a lot of information, but I would venture to bet that they make their money on hot tub sales, not on necessarily like the patio stuff. And the outdoor stuff, I would bet. I bet you the patios is a smaller one for them, but I could be wrong. One way we're going to look at this, we're going to take their site. I'm going to head back over to the free tool or free site Alexa. I'm going to throw their site in there. Apparently India really likes them. I'm going to come down here. Fireplace is 69. So fireplace stores is 69% of this business's traffic. Even though they show up for even though they're showing up number one for the patio stuff, what was it? Patio covers. So that's interesting. I was wrong on the hot tubs. That's why we can't always go off just our hunches. We kind of gotta, but they might not rank well for hot tubs. So anyway, hopefully this is kind of making sense of how you kind of use all these, the Google searches and looking at the Google local and changing around the keywords and just doing your due diligence on some of these properties before just jumping in, all at once. Let's go. Let's just do fireplace stores real quick. Seems like that. You guys probably never thought you'd watch someone just search stuff on Google for like 2 hours straight, right? All right. Fireplace stores, Ann Arbor. Interesting. We got no ads. Kind of interesting, but there's our main person. Here's who takes number one, old Big George. Let's see what Big George, similar type of store it seems like. A lot of his traffic comes from Big George. That's interesting. Big George Appliance Repair. Huh. So anyway, guys, this is how we want you guys to just, be smarter than just monkey see, monkey do. Use these different free things that are out there. Thumbtack, get ideas, try different things, do different searches, look for that low hanging fruit. I don't know.
Yeah. Just be passionate about this stuff and live it, like when you're looking at it every single day and it's always on your mind. I mean, I always have niches popping into my head. Oh, what about this? What about this? When I'm showering, I'm thinking about it. When I go to bed at night, I'm thinking about it. I always think about this stuff. And the more you consume yourself with it and work it and study it and practice it and get out there in the trenches and, do a little bit of due diligence every day, that's where that feel that I talk about comes from. You're just going to be able to do a search and look at the maps and probably not even have to click on anything and be like, yep, easy niche. Nope, staying away from it.
This right here, appliance repair Ann Arbor, I would not get into this niche.
Yeah.
Just right off the bat. I can tell within a second that it's tough. It's a tough niche. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm out. See ya. It's just, I can just see it so easily that I got to hog up these top spots. Everyone's kind of right in line. Look at 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3. Man, that's going to take some time. So,
I mean, 125 reviews, that's pretty legit right there.
Yeah, and appliance repair is a very much, what's the word? There's a lot of pay-per-call national services that are doing lead gen for them. So it's a cutthroat one, definitely. It's definitely, but it just shows you right there. It kind of follows suit, shows you just how cutthroat it is. Boom, 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 Appliance repair, appliance repair, appliance repair. These people know what they're doing. Everyone knows what they're doing here. Other than the fact that they're closed. That's stupid. Never close. What else? Anything kind of end this thing?
Not that I can.
Anything else you want to cover?
Do you guys want to do more of these? Should we start doing like one of these a week and have one normal call and one something like this?
Yeah, I want you guys comment real quick in the chat box and just let us know what you guys want. As far as you want us to do more of these types of things where we can do some with like this type where we're finding low-hanging fruit. We can, obviously we just kind of did this one, so you guys can refer back to it. And we can do prospecting ones with you guys. We could do ones with Brad shaving his arms. We can do all sorts of cool stuff. So, okay, cool. It looks like everyone likes this. So then what I want you guys to all go do is just go buy a ticket to Vegas for all this insane value we've been giving you. Just head on over and come see us in Vegas because we're going to pile it down in Vegas. Yeah, other than that, guys, I'm getting hit up by people that want to join Job Killing. Yeah, let's rock and roll. Maybe we'll drink a little one of these times like the old days and give away some free stuff.
We could have a go-to word. When Dan says cliche, you got to take a drink.
All right, guys, we're closing her down. Like I said, we'd love to see you guys all in Vegas. It's going to be freaking awesome. It's coming together real well. I'm actually going to go out there again this month in, Brad, I didn't tell you this, in 9 days. Just want to check out the scene one more time before we head on out.
Check out that room.
Take a look at everything. Make sure everything's in line for you guys. And then have a good old time. So guys, we'll see you guys on Tuesday. We'll be in the group up until then. And let's rock. Later.